Hi everybody, Puffin here. I just went out to smoke again, to smoke another bowl to start for a Puffin's Pothead Passages, and I just wanted to fill out some things that I said in Puffin's Pothead Passages number 3. I mentioned a skill tree. If you look at our society like a video game and you have a skill tree that we've put a bunch of skill points into oil and gas and that type of energy production, and that's all failed and bad. And we haven't put as many skill points towards green energy, but we're starting to. Well, one reason I make that analogy is to say, well, you can just start putting more of your skill points towards green energy and start to pull ourselves out of the problem we've created. Or you can reallocate the skill points from oil and gas, which means you need to aggressively dismantle these corporations and these systems and change them over to green energy. This reallocation of skill points is what really gives you an advantage. Stop giving to oil and gas companies like hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, etc. And stop handing the money back and forth through this lobbying scam that they run on America. So that's where I wanted to go with the skill tree. Also, when my video didn't cut off at the end, I said, bless you, Goddess bless you, Judas bless you, I bless you. And then it cut off right as I was trying to say one more. It said, bless yourself. And that reminded, what is that? Bless yourself. Bless yourself. Where does that come from? And it reminds me, like at my old job, I showed all my coworkers the Larry the Mime skit, which I'm not going to spoil anything. Just watch the Larry the Mime skit if you haven't seen it. But in it, Larry the Mime says, boo yourself. And we used to yell at each other across the workplace all the time, boo yourself, because it was just hilarious. And there was a time that we were like driving or something, and I forgot what it was. Somebody was like stepping out on the road when, like there was some confusion about who was going to go or something like that. So somebody got in our way or whatever. And my coworker had yelled, boo you at the at the pedestrian or something, in a funny way, but had yelled, boo you. And the person, total stranger, yelled back, boo yourself, which means that they'd seen the skit and they knew the reference of boo you, boo yourself, which is Larry the Mime. And the reason I think it fits in is because this whole viral aspect of our modern reality means that ideas can really get around. And there's still some ideas that the powers that be are afraid of. And we can get those out there. Like I'm talking about starting the Church of Judas, based on the Gospel of Judas. But just weed, we can get those out there. There's this abundance of goodness that is kind of been shelved or pushed aside, and we can get it out there. It's a way of approaching life with a stripe of spirituality to it. And when I was thinking about saying this, like spirituality accesses this abundance, and there's just more. So the first thing I'm thinking is, well, I can just do another passage. I can do another video of another Bible verse because that's fun to do. And, and there's so many of them. And for each one, I can do like a 5-10 minute video. And then even if I came back around and did another one about the same verse, like it just keeps going. It just never ends. You don't run out. So that's what made me think, first of all, that if you run a society well, no one ever runs out of anything. Like just set it basic. Everything that's needed, no one ever runs out. Think about how different that is than the society we have now. In a well-run society, no one ever runs out. You don't run out of, time to stay in your home. You don't run out of your medicines. You don't run out of food. You don't run out of water. You don't run out of energy. Nothing ever runs out. So that should be a basic goal of government or society. Make sure that nothing ever runs out for everybody, because we are in this abundant world. Things like the Bible or weed remind us of that. They have that spiritual component. Now, I can hear a criticism, oh, just because you smoke some weed doesn't make you spiritual, or just because you read something from the Bible doesn't make you spiritual. Totally true. But if you smoke some weed with the desire for spirituality, or if you read the Bible or read any religious text or read anything with a desire for spirituality, or watch a show on TV and watch a movie, you do any of these things with a desire for spirituality or have a conversation with a desire for spirituality, and it will come in. And especially weed, that is a spiritual plant. and a spiritual experience, a spiritual communion. So you do, when that's what you desire, what you focus on, you do enhance your spirituality through smoking weed and certain other psychoactive type things. I mean, I suppose coffee is, plenty of people drink coffee and feel really good about it. And it's, if you also drank coffee or tea with a spiritual component, you would get more spirituality out of your regular rituals. So that's one thing I want to mention, is just having this approach, which does relate somewhat to the passage I read, Matthew 16, where Jesus talks about people looking for signs. And it's like, well, depending on your approach, if you're a good-hearted, you get good signs. If you're evil-hearted, you're going to get bad signs. And this is just the way the world and nature responds to our actions. So there is all this abundance. It's just a matter of accessing it. We, the Bible, all good things can remind us of how to access it better and get that spirituality out of it. So bless yourself. There's so much out there. Let's keep doing it and accessing it. And let's reallocate the skill points from an evil system to a good system in all ways. But the analogy that works so well is, let's change all this focus and investment in oil and gas, which is all bad and proven to be really, really bad. Even worse in more ways than we think. Like in the magical way, oil and gas is really, really bad. And switch it all to what in the magical way, green energy, wind and solar energy, and focusing on the sun. In the magical way, that is so good. But also in every other way, every way that we typically understand, so good to do that. And you just hear them now complaining about, the power failure in Texas and people dying from that, and they're Republican officials just because they're Republican trying to like blame wind power for it. It's like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is you people's gas industry and isolating yourselves from other power industries, and the fact that we haven't all gone into a more localized solar with batteries, wind power, wherever. But there's plenty of that. It's just a matter of accessing it. It's just a matter of reallocating our skill points. Just a matter of blessing ourselves instead of cursing ourselves. So bless yourself. Watch Larry the Mime too if you haven't seen it. And read some Bible or some holy text of any religion that you are lucky enough to come across, or write your own. And I'm a witch myself. I participate in fairy magic, which is everywhere. Fairies are everything. So thanks for watching, and nice to meet you if you haven't seen me before. I'm Puffin, and talk to you again soon. Please subscribe. Thanks. I've got a lot of subscribers. It's really cool. Thank you all.